shame on dads. Let's put it this way. Shame on dads. Every dad was a boy. Believe me. I know exactly what boys are thinking. And when my daughters walk in, my wife can say, oh, that looks cute. Dad says, because I know what that 12-year-old is thinking. And no thank you. So shame on us. Who are the people that are going in and saying, oh, well, it's just cute, they just know better, whatever it is? How do you not?
I had a really great example the past weekend. We went to an amusement park that was fall themed, and while we were waiting in line for something, the kids were just sort of playing and running around and climbing on things, and there was a little girl that was probably about 7 or 8, and her skirt was so short that she was self-conscious about climbing on things, so she kept kind of like just staying back and like pulling it down, and then Mom did go up a couple times to try and adjust it, but she ended up just staying there and not engaging with the rest of the kids and playing, which is, for us, it's sad, because that's what Halloween is about. It's fun, it's play, it's supposed to be a good time. But if your costume's not allowing you to even enjoy it because you're so self-conscious, then that's a problem.
So where do we begin to solve this problem? Where do we even begin?
I think if we take a little bit of a bigger picture look, we can be surprised and shocked by those outfits, which we should be completely. However, we also have to realize, for example, 3% of the decision makers in media are women. So that means 97% of the people who decide how women are portrayed and what's valuable about a woman are men. So that is not about us saying, oh, we need to be politically correct. It's just being correct. It's just saying that actually doesn't represent lived reality of a complete and holistic society. So to us, we also have to think, what do we expect from all ages and all genders?
Because it's not,
right?
it's not, yeah, I'm sorry, it doesn't, Halloween is the last stop on this train. I mean, our kids' costumes for Halloween is the last stop. This is happening through all of our society. And our parents are trying, the parents are trying to look like 15-year-olds, and the 15-year-olds are trying to look like 18-year-olds, and everybody's trying to look like the Kardashians. It's the media, it's what we consume, it's that which you gaze upon, you become. And we are gazing upon trash. We're getting all of our self-esteem from trash, from lies, from that it's all about sex, money, or good times. And so if you don't fix the people, and you can't regulate that, you have to somehow or another fix the people inside. If we don't fix ourselves and say, you know what, I don't care what the rest of the world does, that's just not right. It's not right.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, and I think that a lot of the times we are pushing sex onto the idea of sexy onto children before they even know what sex is necessarily. I know my kindergartner has come home and used that word before, and they just think
it's disturbing.
It is disturbing, just picking it up from public school, and they think of it as an adjective that means cute. So it's kind of replacing cute or feminine in the vernacular. They're calling it sexy, but they don't know what that means.
I was in a, when I was a disc jockey years and years ago. This is probably late 80s. And I don't remember, it was some magazine, 17 magazine or something. And they were having these local tryouts for models, and they were all probably 12 to 15 years old. Most uncomfortable thing I've ever done in my life. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, why am I even here? I'm a judge. Why am I even here? And I'm watching, and it disturbed me. So it shook me to my core, because the girls were imitating sexy. They were walking, you could see they were just imitating what they had seen on television. They had no idea. And I realized at that time, it just seared it in my memory. Sexy is someone who knows who they are, who has self-confidence and really can carry themselves, because they know, they're not afraid. They know who they are. They're not trying to pretend anything. And these kids were acting sexy. And I just wanted to say, and now that I'm a little older and I don't care as much, I would now, go ahead, invite me to be a judge on one of these things. I should have said what I was thinking, which was, what are you doing to your children? Look at that. That's not your daughter. Your daughter is trying to be something she's not.
Well, and I think there's a difference between sexy and sexualization. So sexualization means that we're stripping somebody down to one thing, which is how they look. And I think, like, why does any of this matter? Of course it's disturbing, but when we look at what that leads to, when we look at what that sexualization leads to, it leads to dehumanizing. And anytime we dehumanize anybody, they're more vulnerable for violence, which is huge. 90% of the violence in the world is against women, right? So if we're taking them down to one thing and there's something to be obtained or controlled, that is what is most disturbing to me. And it just comes out as a symptom in these costumes.
Yeah, I've found similar things that Stephanie was talking about. I've interviewed more tween and teenage girls than I can probably count at this point over the last 10 years as part of my work. And what I hear time and time again is that this understanding of what it means to be sexy. They can perform that, but they don't necessarily understand what that means inside and how to be sexy as a 30-year-old woman. That's a very different understanding. And I think there's this big shift today over the last 20 years. Almost everything that could have been sexualized has been sexualized because of the rise of the internet and social media. When I grew up, I played with Rainbow Bright, My Little Ponies. Rainbow Bright was like a pudgy little dumpling with blonde hair. If you Google her, Google images today, she's all sexed up now. She's thin. Even the ponies, horses, have become sexualized. And you know, in the 80s, Brooke Shields, very, very young. 90s, we had, you know, Jessica Simpson, Britney Spears going from parent-approved good girls to sexy pop stars, Miley Cyrus today. So this isn't necessarily new, but what is different to what you were saying before, these kids are on social media, they are plugged in every day, 24/7, learning these very nuanced cues that are being marketed to them.